Welcome to this note. Today, you are getting a masterclass on the absolute invisible engine of our digital economy, software. Look, whether you're gearing up to build your first startup, trying to pivot into a high-paying tech career, or you just want to understand the fabric of the modern world, you are exactly where you need to be. We're going to break down what software actually is, how it runs basically everything around us, and most importantly, how you can harness this digital power to innovate, build, and honestly thrive in today's market.
It's kind of wild when you stop and think about it. Without software, your $1,000 smartphone, it's just a very expensive, totally lifeless piece of glass and metal. A laptop without an operating system is literally just a paperweight. Software is that invisible layer of magic that takes cold silicon and turns it into tools capable of global communication, massive business automation, and limitless creativity. And today, we're going to learn how to wield that magic.
Okay, here's our roadmap for this note. We'll be looking at 1. The power of software. 2. How it actually works. 3. Modern architecture and systems. 4. The development playbook. 5. Monetizing your digital skills. And 6. AI and the future. We're moving from the absolute core mechanics all the way to how you can build and sell your own digital products.
Section 1. The power of software. Let's start right at the foundation.
So what exactly are we talking about when we say software? Well, the easiest way to picture it is by comparing it to hardware. Hardware is the physical body of a device, the stuff you can actually touch, the CPU, the memory chips, the camera lens. But software is the mind. It's the exact set of instructions in data telling that physical hardware what to do. When you tap the camera app on your screen, it's the software that wakes up the physical lens, processes the light data, shows you a preview, and safely tucks that file away in the cloud.
Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually write those instructions? Because we definitely don't speak in ones and zeros, right? We write in what's called source code. This is human-readable text written in programming languages like Python, JavaScript, or C++. As developers, we use things like variables to store data, functions to trigger actions, and algorithms to map out complex logic. And fun little side note, the very first computer bug was an actual, literal moth that got stuck inside a physical relay back in 1947.
Section 2. How software actually works.
So, how does that typed code actually force the hardware to do something useful? It's basically a high-speed relay race, and it's happening billions of times a second. First, your application requests an operation, like playing a Spotify track. Then, the operating system grabs that request and manages the resources. Next, these specialized pieces of software called drivers step in to translate that request into hardware language. And finally, the hardware, in this case your speakers, actually plays the sound. The real hero here is the operating system. It is the ultimate middleman managing memory, security, your files, your network, the whole shebang. And as an industry expert or a future founder, you've really got to understand the ecosystems you're building for. You've got desktop giants like Windows, macOS, and Linux, which are absolute powerhouses for development. And then you have mobile ecosystems like iOS and Android, which operate with totally different hardware rules, security permissions, and app economies.
Section 3. Modern architecture and systems.
When you scale up from one single laptop to the massive global internet, the architecture of your software becomes a make or break decision for any business. Modern apps aren't just one single file anymore. They are built on multiple pillars. You have the front end, that's the user interface you actually see and click on. Then there's the back end, the invisible server-side brain doing all the heavy lifting. You've got databases locking down crucial info like user profiles. You have APIs bridging the gaps between all these pieces. And finally, cloud services hosting the entire operation so you don't have to build a multi-million-dollar server room in your basement.
I really want to double-click on APIs for a second because they are a complete game changer. APIs, or application programming interfaces, are essentially secure delivery drivers that pass data between totally different systems. Think about a weather app. You don't have to launch your own global weather balloons to build one. You just use an API to instantly pull data from an existing global weather service. It lets you build powerful products incredibly fast without reinventing the wheel.
As the founder, you have to decide how all these pieces fit together. You could go with a monolithic architecture, where your front-end, back-end, and database are all bundled into one giant unified system. It's super simple to start with, but as companies grow, they usually shift to a distributed architecture, using things called microservices. This makes everything modular. And here's why that matters. If one small feature on your app crashes, a distributed system ensures the rest of your app stays online. so you're not losing customers or burning cash over a minor bug.
Section 4. The Development Playbook.
Now that we know how it's structured, how do you actually build it? What is the absolute most critical first step? You might assume it's picking your coding language, right? Python? JavaScript? Actually, scratch that. The most fatal mistake beginners make is writing code without clearly understanding the human problem they are trying to solve.
So here is your timeless professional playbook. Step 1, identify a real human problem. Step 2, define the simplest possible solution. Only at step 3 do you choose your tech stack. Step 4, you design and build it incrementally. Step 5, you rigorously test it and deploy it to the world. And step 6, you actively collect user feedback to improve it. Whatever you do, never build in a vacuum. Build for people.
Section 5. Monetizing your digital skills.
Let's talk about the business side of things. Once you can build solutions, you unlock incredible digital wealth-building potential. You've got SaaS, software as a service, where you collect recurring monthly subscriptions. You've got the freemium model, offering a free base app but charging for premium features. You can even charge other businesses just for API access to your data. The absolute best part about software, the leverage. You build the product once, and you can literally sell it infinitely.
And hey, even if launching a startup isn't your thing, the career paths here are vast and incredibly lucrative. You could be a full-stack developer, commanding both the front end and back end. You could be a cloud engineer, architecting massive serverless systems. Or maybe you don't want to code at all. You could be a product manager, steering the whole strategy and advocating for the user. Or a security engineer, playing a high-stakes game of keeping hackers and malware out. Every single industry on Earth desperately needs these digital skills.
Section 6. AI and the future.
The digital landscape is moving at lightning speed. As future-ready professionals, we have to look ahead. So what actually happens when software starts writing itself? Because artificial intelligence is completely rewiring how development works.
Right now, developers are using AI as an incredible accelerator. It's generating boilerplate code, automatically spotting bugs, explaining confusing legacy systems, and helping us prototype ideas in minutes instead of weeks. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it is a co-pilot, not an autopilot. AI-generated code still requires strict human review, security assessments, and licensing checks. We are still the ones flying the plane.
But looking forward, the future is moving toward AI-native apps that are intelligent from day one. We're going to see edge computing moving processing right to your device, totally autonomous workflows, and a massive boom in low-code and no-code platforms. This is going to democratize development so that anyone with a good idea can build software without needing to learn complex syntax.
But you know what? No matter how crazy the tech gets, even if AI ends up writing 90% of the code one day, the core principles we talked about today will remain your timeless playbook. You will always need to identify a problem, design a smart solution, set the instructions, test them, deploy them safely, and constantly improve them. That human element, that's not going anywhere.
This note has given you the foundational knowledge you need to step into this space. You know the architecture, the business models, the mechanics, and where the future is heading. But knowing is only step 1. Now you actually have to build. Start small. Code a simple calculator, an expense tracker, or a basic portfolio site. The digital economy is waiting for you to jump in. So the only question left for you is, what problem are you going to solve today?